Yo, guys, what's going on? It's Fears, Kevin Calvert. What's up, my friend? How you been?
Doing good, brother. Good to see you again. We've known each other for almost a decade now. I was trying to figure that out. We go all the way back
Almost a
to
decade.
2016, brother.
The first time that we met was remember Dave Dyer at his convention?
Of course, contamination. That's right.
So I'm walking around. I'm doing a whole bunch of interviews, and I remember seeing you in stuff like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I kind of went, "Is that Kevin?" And I was like, "That is Kevin." I had no idea. Jeff made you a surprise. So, because I remember on the website, he wanted to make it a big surprise. So he came up to me and he said, "Hey, John, I got a surprise." He goes, "You know all the actors that I told you to interview?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, guess who's over there?" And I said, "Oh," I said, "You pulled a fast one on me." I said, "He was not on the website." He goes, "Well," he goes, "we did that for a reason." He goes, "I wanted it to be a big surprise to everybody." So that was the
That was right outside St. Louis, and St. Louis, of course, being the hometown. It was very special, certainly, to go back to that, especially right after Supergirl, and it was a very, very important time for me. That's for sure.
Because we only got to hang out just like that interview because there was so much going on. But I'd say when we really became friends, it was like when Don asked me to come to the set of Superman World War, and we got to hang out a lot.
Oh yeah, you were there. You were there quite a bit, which was great. It was anytime, again, going back to the St. Louis area to film that. Just there's something special that comes with that, and of course, just being with the local Midwest people. It always feels so much better there. And certainly having you around that set, I know. I remember some of the specific. You were there quite a bit, which was great because
I was there the last 4 days of shooting because Don said, "Why don't you just come and hang out?" And he goes, "And lend a hand," because I wanted to be involved. And I just happened to bring my GoPro, and he just saw me filming. I didn't ask his permission. I should have. And he goes, "Yeah, do that. And I said, "Well, is it okay? I already started filming." He goes, "Well, just don't film when they're acting." He goes, "Film all the behind the scenes." I said, "Oh, well, yeah, of course." And then he actually asked me because I did such a great job, he said. And then, I mean, the premiere was slamming.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, we were all there. Do you remember where we were? I remember it was downtown. They had the screening room downstairs, and then we walked upstairs, and it was kind of like a nightclub upstairs.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. It was down on the SLU campus. It was new. It was the only time I had ever.
It was brand new.
Yeah, it was brand new, and I can't remember the name of the place because it wasn't there. It wasn't there until after I moved away from St. Louis.
Yeah,
so I know that if it would have been one of those spots that back when I was living in St. Louis, because in my 20s I played music and just without networking and enjoying a good vibe place. That's definitely
it was a phenomenal night, and I actually I think you were surprised too. When I got there, I thought it was only one premiere, and then they were double dipping. They said, "Oh no!" They I think somebody messed up. They had a big banner and they had a big poster, and it said one premiere, and I think somebody messed up. So Don's like, "Oh no, we're having two premieres."
Right. That was the one whenever we had a really good following on that one, and we invited out all the veterans that were part of the air wing that we went and shot at. So because again, whenever you work with the Midwest people, everybody's just so cool. And you remember out at that old air base.
Oh yes, I couldn't believe it. Don rented a massive airstrip hangar, and then you and the young girl standing right next to that played Lois. This airplane was probably the size of my apartment. It was ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Even got in it to shoot the final shot of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the production value was so incredibly high, and if we would have tried to do that in LA, it would have
probably not, right?
That alone would have been a $1 million day or something like that.
Yeah.
So the way that we were out there, so we tried to give back to the veterans that were part of that. So we gave them pretty much open on tickets. And problem was that we had already promised so many tickets out that now there wasn't enough tickets to go around. I mean, sell out crowd, and you can't.
It was
turn away people. So we went ahead and did the option to do the two features of it. So ironically, I only sat through the first one. I sat through the first one with my family and did the red carpet. And then during the second second screening of it, me and my family, we went over and got some Pappy's barbecue. And
I remember that. Like you guys went and then you came back.
Yeah, then we came back for the Q&A and then to meet everybody and still,
and then we partied probably till 3 in the morning. Like I didn't get home until 4, and that's when I was still living with my parents. My mom was like, "Where were you?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I'm partying." I was like, I was hanging out with Kevin, Don, and she goes, "Oh, I didn't know it was supposed to go that long." I said, "Well," the after party went that long. I said the premiere was like an hour or 2. But that one's very special because up until that point I had never went to a premiere ever in my life, and that everybody on my YouTube channel seems to love that because that was like I just kept filming. That vlog is like it's gotten over 2,000 views, and when I edited it together, it was like an hour and 30 minutes. It's insane, dude.
I believe it. Yeah, that was one of my favorite premieres too. Just the camaraderie that we all felt on that set.
Yeah.
And again, it was special. It was definitely
so through all that, and we've kept in touch over the years. And at some point, I'm going to come visit you guys because I tried to make it down to LA, but then I moved down to Florida, and I was like, and then I had a job, and then I would still be at Disney, but I lost it because of the pandemic. And I thought, well, I'm not going to give up. So I just got another job, and I thought, well, I'm going to keep working on my YouTube stuff while I just go to my 9-to-5 job. And actually, the YouTube channel's taken off. Like I do like a podcast almost every day, and I just opened up a fan mail like a year and a half ago, and people send fan mail, if not once a week, like a couple times a month, and it seems to be jumping off the page, man. So yeah, that's how our friendship started. But I am so happy for you. I was telling Kevin behind the scenes. You said in a couple of weeks, right? The wedding, you and
That's
Ashley.
Right. Yeah, I get married to my lovely lady in a couple of weeks. We've been together since right before the pandemic, and we have both a personal and professional relationship.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we met socially. A friend introduced us socially, and then almost a year later, a friend of mine who was my co-producer at the time, he contacted me and pitched her to be our co-producer on a project. I go, "Oh, I think she's great. If he vouches for her, then I'm good."
Yeah. So it just kind of formed together.
That's right. And then we were just friends and coworkers for several years, and then the spark happened, and
that's awesome.
She helped me out so much on my very first feature film, which was 16 Bits. She went so above and beyond that I actually named her producer on the film. I said,
"Wax waster, man, wax waster." I love that.
Yeah, so she was a producer on it. She helped out so much, and then obviously, like I said, here we are a few years later, and we've produced 3 feature films together. We produced 2 series together, and
awesome.
It's just
I'm so happy for you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm still looking for Mrs. Fears. I know she's out there somewhere. I don't know where, but I'm still looking.
She is.
But I got some good news. Last night, my mom called me like at 4 a.m. So, guys, whenever you see this live stream, you guys will be able to hear the good news. My mom called me up. I'm an uncle now. My brother just had his first child. That's awesome. So
I have a feeling you're going to be a funkle. I can tell. Yeah.
Well, I've already sent them a bunch of gifts. Like, my favorite, when we were on set, I was telling you all about my favorite movie. I love Ghostbusters. That's my favorite film of all time. I already sent him, my mom's like, well, they don't have many clothes for the little one. So I sent him like 4 onesies of like Ghostbuster. Then my mom's like, get him some older clothes like when he's 4 and 5. I got him like 2 shirts of like Ghostbuster already. So he's locked and loaded, ready to rock and roll, man. So yeah. So I wanted to ask, when you guys were in LA, and I wanted to come down, and the only bad part about moving to Florida was I missed out. Don called, and he wanted me to come back and do all the behind the scenes on Superman World War, and I tried to like get the time off from work, but I had just gotten the job. And I wanted to ask, how was that whole shoot? I heard it was a big success, and I saw a little bit of it. But did you guys get any behind the scenes without fears or any of that?
I don't think that we really did. It was it's without somebody being dedicated to it. It's tough because shoots, everybody typically different times we take on different roles. And by that, I mean the first project that I ever did with Donnie was the cameraman. Kevin Eaton was I don't know. He was there. Not sure even sure what he was doing. I don't know if he was a production assistant. And then
I think he actually had a part in it, Kevin Eaton.
And that one he did, yes. But we did it. We had all done a project before and met on another project, Ordo Mortis, and so whenever it came time for Superman, it was like everybody like takes that step up a notch. So like Donnie went from camera operator up to director. Kevin went from
That's what I like him about being director, because he just saw me vlogging. He's like, Fierce, get over here. Film the behind the scenes. And I was like, oh, I got you.
Yeah. And Donnie's great like that. He's just everything's a collaboration. He was always really good because at the end of the day, I was the most experienced one on set. So if I made a suggestion or if I said that something has to happen now because we're going to lose the light, I mean, just my own experience from being on set.
Yeah.
He was very open and interpretive, which was very
And then your wife got a part in the second one.
Yes. Yeah. So we did we actually have kind of been on hiatus with that one. Unfortunately, Donnie, the director, unfortunately, his father, who was the executive producer, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. So.
And I did give him a call and wished him my condolences, and I was like, hey man, I'm really sorry. And I've kept in touch with Donnie a little bit, so I know he shot. I don't know if he's finished editing it because his father passed away and all that, but I think it's gonna happen though.
Yeah, we did. I mean, what we did is we're gonna do more of an episodic thing. We shot parts of it. I went back and I suited up both as Clark and as Superman. We did a lot of cool stuff. We started introducing new characters, and unfortunately, some projects just that you either get caught up in the post production, or in some cases, it's almost like you bite off more than you could chew. And it's not that that's what happened, but without Donnie's father being there, because he was catalyst behind it, which is great because it takes an army to make a movie.
And I actually got to meet him once or twice on the set of the first one, and he was a nice guy.
Oh, absolute sweetheart. He moderated the Q&As whenever we did the premiere, and he was just an amazing human being. And
I hope you guys get to go back and finish it, because I mean, dude, you already had some, behind the scenes to Superman, because you already did it once, and then you did it again, and then you did it a third time. So I was like, oh, Kevin's got this. I'm like, he's got Superman down, and he did a great job. And that costume that you wore, the one, I don't know who made it. Who made it for the first one?
Oh, that was Charlie Sofer, the St. Louis Superman. He's our costume guy.
Yeah.
He played Private Donnie Callahan in the film, and he knows his stuff. He takes it very serious. And
I remember talking to him on the red carpet. He not only did he I remember now, because now that you said that, it sparked something, because it's been a while ago. He also did the props too. So he acted, did all the props and the costumes.
Yeah, the art department on that one, it was a team of about 3 people. I know Laura Candace helped out on that one. There was a couple other people that were always there, because again, it's a big to do. Whenever you're doing an entire world building, and then with the Superman, I mean, we put it in the 1940s. So every piece of wardrobe, and then that's where it gets into with the local military installment, because they really opened up their museum to us. They let us, I mean, we're using real stuff. So
and then when it's a period piece, you got to do. They did their makeup different back then. They did their clothes, even the furniture. So you have to take all that into account. Everything.
So,
it's a lot easier when you shoot like maybe from the 1980s up.
Sure.
But when the farther back you go, you're like, well, that's more money, that's more costumes, that's more props, that's more problems, blah, 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 Yeah,
the period piece is huge. I tell that as a producer, whenever people say that they want to do a period piece or they want these big set designs, it's like, okay, that's money. Just so you know, that is a lot of money. And to even be able to get things, historically accurate is really tough. Like footwear is a big thing, but to find and buy or rent old shoes, they're more uncomfortable. It's expensive. It is
because they use different material and stuff. Like a lot, they used a lot of leather back in the day, and leather, it looks cool to wear, but it's very hard on the feet, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. That Clark Kent suit was very fun. So what I did was, whenever we did our next setup, I actually went and bought my own suit, because the original one was a rental that they did. It was an actual 1940s costume rental,
and it was like a lot of those suits were cotton in the back in the day, right? Like 100% cotton.
I can't remember. I don't know if it was cotton or polyester or what it was.
But that stuff's really warm, you know.
But yeah, the wool suits, the polyester, yeah. It's so to be able to modernize something, it just saves you so much money, because now you just tell people to bring stuff from their own closet. We all do, especially in the indie filmmaking. It's, am I going to get bloody? Is this going to get destroyed? Then I don't want to wear, but otherwise it's, oh great, we're just regular people. Cool, I'm going to wear my own clothes. It's or I'm going to go to Target or H&M and just, like, I just did an action movie, and I did my own wardrobe for it, and I think I got everything. So we did bullet holes. I mean, we
good. Well, then that's easy. That's easy, because when you get to set, when you get to set, you're like, well, it's easy. I bought everything, so I know what costume I'm going to put in, and all you have to do is makeup, and then you're ready to rock and roll.
Exactly. And with a lot of indie projects too, it's unfortunate sometimes you got to say, come hair, makeup ready, which, it's something that I've been on really, really big sets. I've been on, I think, 5 Marvel sets now. I've been on, DC. I've been in lots of different things. With each one of them, I mean, the costuming and the wardrobe departments, and whenever you get there and there's just a fleet of trailers with all the makeup and that, and a whole lot goes into it. And then you shoot on a studio lot, and it's just that you see how these projects cost $200-300 million.
Yeah,
you go down to the indie level, and you're talking about shooting entire movies for.
And you're lucky if you get maybe one trailer.
Yeah,
if that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I still remember almost every trailer that I've ever gotten. I only get it whenever I've done network TV or the big studio feature films. And I've been on some pretty big projects, and I don't even get a trailer, which is fine. I mean, it's as long as you have a space, as long as if you have a green room, but for the most part, it's shared green rooms if you even have that. So whenever I do my own productions, I try to be a little, better about that and take good care of people. But it doesn't always work like that. Some days, if we're doing a quick pickup, and I have to tell women that, like, hey, I cannot afford a makeup artist today. It's either, I drop $400 or $500 on a makeup artist to come in and do your makeup and your makeup alone, or, I mean, that's the entire catering budget. Let's all be able to eat lunch and have snacks throughout the day than one makeup artist.
I will say, before we move on, Donnie did a good job at that. Like, he was like, Fierce, I got a whole spread. Eat whatever you want. And I was like, oh, well, I'm like, I want to save that for the actor. He goes, no, Fierce, you have no idea. He goes, I just rented 42 pizzas. So he's like, we won't run out. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's a spot where you don't want to skimp. If it's there's certain producers out there that will skimp on it, and it's just, I'm not.
Donnie is a fantastic producer, writer, and director. I've been friends with him almost as long as I've been friends with you, and I've kept in touch with him over the years. And before we move on, I just wanted to say, I hope you guys get back to that project, because I want to see that finished product, because I thought it was already finished, because I remember he started, I follow him on Facebook and YouTube, and he started uploading clips. So I assumed, I'm like, oh, darn it, I missed out because I moved to Florida. Oh, it's all finished, and it's not. And so I didn't know that. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we were doing an episodic. One episode came out and was available, and then that one was black and white, because we were kind of trying to modernize it. So the original theory behind it was to take that World War II era, 1940s, and then bring it up to the present through a series of shorts.
And is the series like it's still set in that universe? Does it time travel to the present, or
no? It's not so much a time travel. It's just a catch up. Like so it is the exact same universe. It picks up. It's the same Clark, Lois, Private Callahan. It's still everybody, and it goes. So we did the 1950s. and then we did part of the 60s, then we're going to do a 70s,
Got it.
And then kind of keep it going, because it kind of shows we could age then in that way without, as we know, Superman doesn't age like normal people.
Yeah. It's very like for every 10 years he ages maybe like one year.
Exactly. So, because obviously I'm getting older too, and
yeah,
you know, of course I could dye my hair, but I do have gray hairs starting to come in.
I got a few coming in here, but well, thank God I'm not bald. You know, I'd rather be doing that salt and pepper look than having bald.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you. It's,
oh yeah,
I'm happy with what I got, but it's definitely shading.
Right. The last time I was in town, my mom was like, "Well, John, you got more of your dad's side. My brother's going bald in the back." And I told him, I said, if it gets any worse, just shave it. I said, just shave it. And he goes, do you think I'll look good? I said, yeah. I said, you don't want to have like old man hair on the side and be bald. I said, if it gets any, I said, it's fine for right now. I said, if it gets any worse, dude, and my brother's name is Thomas, and I call him Tom. I was like, Tom, just shave it or just wear a baseball cap. You'll be fine. And he was like, yeah, I'll probably take your advice. So I wanted to, I've got some, I wanted to catch up first, but I got some questions prepared. And then whenever I interview someone, I always give them an opportunity to ask either the audience or me a question. So before we go, I wanted to, you know, the premiere, what are like 3 highlights from that premiere that we did that's like your favorite, if you had to sum up that night?
Well, for me, it was really special because being in St. Louis, it was the only St. Louis premiere that I've ever done. And it was my whole family coming out, of course.
That's awesome.
I've done a lot of red carpets in my day, and that was still to this day the only one that like my family was at. And just the fact that everybody came out to support and dressed up, and it was obviously that's a very, I wouldn't say selfish, but just for what family means. That was really important.
Well, family is not selfish. I mean, I get that. Like you want your family to be proud of you, so I wouldn't say that's selfish. Like that's a great highlight. I mean,
yeah, and it's to this moment. It was my nephew. He had on a little Superman cape, and
I remember.
You know, as cute as can be. And there's even a picture of him in his cape looking at my poster. And it's
nice.
Like just
doing the superhero pose.
Right. And it's just a little meta. But speaking of family, one of my other highlights was we touched on this earlier, was that director Don Callahan, his father was the executive producer and the one that was doing the emceeing during the Q&A.
I went up to him and shook his hand, and I said, "You are a great MC." I said, "You've got this down." He said, "Oh, I really appreciate that, John."
Yeah.
That's one of my highlights. I remember talking to him.
Well, there was a moment, I'm sitting next to Donnie, because I think Donnie was at the end, then me, then Scott, and then you know, the cast. And then Jeff was on the very far end doing the questions. And Jeff had this emotional moment where he talked about making the movie with his son. And he started to get emotional.
Yep.
And as he's kind of caught up in the moment that we were all in, I leaned over to Donnie and I was like, go hug your dad.
Yeah.
And it was a moment where he went and gave his dad a hug. And there's even pictures of it. There's video of it. And it was, I mean, you choke up just.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Whenever you think about the significance of taking on a project like Superman and of doing it together, and then seeing all this hard work going up onto the big screen in front of a sellout crowd. And it was just such a beautiful moment that, and in all the projects that I've been a part of, I've never been part of like a father-son team. I've never been part of, well, I say that, I mean, I've been directed by a guy who's also directing his kid. You know, a little different. It's not the son.
But they have a big, strong bond. Like I lost my dad, right? Just a little bit after I moved here. It was like a little bit after the pandemic. It was like 2022. I lost my dad too. So I know what Donnie's going through. I miss my dad every day. I mean, I think about him every day. So yeah.
So that was definitely on my highlight of just something about of all the moments. I think if there was to pinpoint one moment of the night, that would have been Donnie and Jeff just embracing and just just the raw emotion that came out of it.
I think that's 3 good highlights. Mine would be going to talk to Jeff, like right after the MC thing, and then definitely the after party, and then probably, and in that after party, I got to interview again. So I think I've interviewed this now. I think this is my 4th interview with you. And every time it just gets better and better, and we always have a lot more fun. And then probably my 3rd one, I knew it was going to be a Superman premiere, so I deliberately wore my red Chuck Taylors, my red shirt, my black my black suit with my red tie, I believe. And everyone was like, "Oh, hey, Fierce, why didn't you just do black and white?" So I said, "Hell no!" I said, "It's Superman." I was like, I was either going to do the red or the blue. And I said, I bet you someone's going to beat me to it and do blue. So I said, I'll do red. So I'd say those are like my 3 big highlights of that. So, yeah. All right. So my first scripted question, I've always wanted to know this. I forgot to ask you this, like when we first became friends. When you first decided to become an actor, you're like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to move out to California. So you get there. And how did it all start? Did you start with your with your workout? Because you've won a lot of workout championships. And then you went into acting, or did it start with stunt work, or did it start with extra work? When you got there, where did it all start?
For me, it was mostly the extra work in Hollywood. I had booked my first pilot as a lead character before I went to LA. I was back in St. Louis.
Okay.
And I booked my first pilot, and I didn't understand how few pilots get picked up. It's like 1 in 30 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that we were going to go and shoot a TV show, and the show never got greenlit.
Okay.
So that was tough. I took 2 weeks off of work. I was working in civil engineering at the time, and I took 2 weeks off of work to do filming, and then it just never got picked up. But whatever it was, it sparked it. It was like, this is what I want to do. I want to. Mm-hmm. I want to, I'm a cinephile. I am a movie fan for life. And it's as hardcore as they could be. And it was like, I used to get made fun of for it. People were like, wow, you watch a lot of TV or watch it's like, well, yeah.
See, I don't understand that. Like, movie is one of the best sources of entertainment. Why would someone make fun of someone? I love movies.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, yeah, I could quote movies from the 1980s. I could quote movies that I haven't seen in 30 years because
me too.
Because they have a special part in my memory, and there's a whole wing of my brain dedicated to like stupid movie trivia and movie facts. But I always wanted to do that. And then whenever the pilot didn't go, I said to myself, I had just turned 30 years old. And I said, if I'm going to do this, I think I have to move to LA, go full time, all in. And that's what I did. I sold my house. I sold all my belongings. I went from a big house in St. Louis to a small apartment in LA. And I thought, I'll get a day job. I'll do this. I'll do whatever it is that I have to do.
Yeah.
And within like my 3rd day, I got booked on some TV show that was I was like audience work on a show called like The Talk, and it was just to be a person, be a pretty person that they put. They're very strategic with who. There's paid audience members, and then there's regular.
So just to fill up the audience, that was the first gig.
They'll put you on like the front row and like an aisle seat, so whenever they show the crowd, you're enthusiastic. They teach you to clap up here, so that everybody could see it on camera. And
that's amazing. See, I would be like, I'll do that. That's easy money. Yeah. I don't have to memorize any lines. This is easy. Yay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah, totally.
I'll do that.
This was like literally like day 3 in LA. And I made more money than what like a regular day job would be. I did okay. It wasn't great money, but I made like $70 or something. I was like, okay. And then I immediately went and signed up at like Central Casting. And within just a couple days, I'm on these TV show sets for shows that I watch that I'm a fan of. I just remember, just being on like Cougar Town. And I was like, next thing you know, I'm like getting on like The Office and like shows that I am a big fan of in person, and Dexter.
Now that I didn't know. I knew you had like a big TV show. I knew you did Supergirl. out of all of our friendship, I had no idea you did extra work on The
So,
Office.
so for like my first year, I was basically a full-time extra my first year. I booked a couple principal roles. I booked one sci-fi movie. I booked a couple short films. I booked one commercial. I booked like 4 print jobs, but I hadn't had an agent yet. I was just getting started in like regular acting classes. But I was having a great time doing it. And I got really lucky in that I got linked up. I'm a veteran. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. So I got linked up with a group. It was called the VFT. It was Veterans in Film and Television.
That's awesome.
Working group. They look out for each other. So I started going to the meetings, and so much of Hollywood is just networking. You know, you gotta.
Well, thank you for your service, my friend. And my dad's a veteran too. So I forgot you were in the Marines, right?
Yes.
My dad was in the Army. So my dad.
My sister's still in the Army. My dad was in the Air Force. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, hey, it's a thing. So I linked up with a group called Combat Casting.
Okay.
And what they did is that they provide actors for like battle scenes, things like that, even SWAT scenes, because instead of teaching actors how to hold weapons, you just hire a veteran that already knows how to handle a weapon. And they had a deal. So that was the one that got me in Thor and in Captain America, Winter Soldier. It got me in Ninja Turtles is
Ninja Turtle. I remember that one. Yeah.
And then I did 300. I did, ended up doing Guardians of the Galaxy. I ended up getting into these really cool big movies.
Those are good. Those are cool.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of it was going back to me being a veteran. So it was some of it was stunt work. Some of it was, just kind of special ability background. But in that first year, I said, look, I really enjoy this. And I don't mind being a background character. I know that at some point I wanted to move into more principal roles.
Yeah.
It really wasn't until year 5 that it really took off for me. It was 2017 is whenever I booked my first really big role. That was for Future Man on Hulu, the Seth Rogen show.
Yeah.
And being on that, and I did 3 years on that. And that was just one of those opportunities that's just, one of those things that you feel good. You feel like if this is the last cool thing that I do, I feel good that I did have the opportunity to.
But see, I like that you did it that way because everyone just goes to Hollywood and just expects it to happen. You're paying your dues. You put in the dues, and then good things happen. Like you can't just expect it just to start like that,
No, yeah, and there are some people out there, of course, there's people out there that it's almost like winning the lottery in a way that do just hit it out of the park in their first movie, and it does happen. They cast on.
I love The Office. I had no idea. What did you do in The Office?
I was in the finale. It was literally the finale Office. It was
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Going back and looking at all the shows that I still watch reruns of today, like. The Office and Parks and Rec. And it's like just to have had been there and I could pinpoint the moment, whether I was background or like a featured role. It was because I never had like a big speaking part in anything like that.
Yeah.
Just the fact that I was there. It's like I just went, like I had a weird story. I was on the show Dexter. And again, I'm just a backgrounder in our scene, and they gave me a move where I walk across whatever. It's it's a blink and you miss it. But I was a big fan of the show Dexter and just being there. And I for anybody who watched Dexter, Jennifer Carpenter played the sister, and she was beautiful woman, but she was a tomboy in the show, and she always wore pants, and it was a joke.
Yeah,
never wore dresses. And in one episode, she had to go undercover, so she wore a dress. And it becomes the butt of the joke of, wow, I've never seen stuff like this. So we're doing a setup, and they're switching cameras around. So whenever they do that, if you're an extra, if you're an actor, you clear the set and let all the workers work. They move the lights, they move the furniture, they move cameras. I mean, they rearrange the world.
They have to dress the set.
Oh, yeah. So as a backgrounder, you just want to get out of the way, like get out of the crew's way, let crew work now. So I just got out of the way, and there was this really big curtain that I backed up against. I thought it was the wall because it was like the wall was there, but it was like a fake wall.
Yeah.
So I backed up against it. It moved, and I turned around to make sure that I'm not knocking something over. And I looked down at where I was, and Jennifer Carpenter is there in her dress, and she's actually lifted her skirt up, and they're actually putting a prop gun inside of her garter belt.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's undercover, so she's got a gun hidden under her dress.
That's awesome.
So I look like right at like her lifting her dress.
Yeah.
I looked right at her and made eye contact. And
so you're like, hey, what's up?
Whoops, excuse me. And I just had to, I was like, oh my God, I just totally walked in because they were behind the curtain. I didn't realize that, they were in a private place, and I totally went and violated their privacy in that moment and looked up her dress accidentally. But, it's one of those moments that, part of being in Hollywood and doing it, again, I'm such a fan of these things that none of it is ever lost on me. I mean, anytime I was ever on a studio lot, I have so many pictures. I find myself wandering around. I haven't gotten kicked off of a studio lot, but I have been asked, like, where are you going? I was like, oh, I'm just taking the detour because I'm such a geek that I want to go look at this.
Well, I mean, you're there, so why wouldn't you? I mean,
absolutely. And
I have a friend that worked on Superman versus Batman, and he was a PA on it, and he said he would just walk around and check it out, and he said you weren't allowed to take photos, and I was like, bullshit. If I was there, I'd be filming vlog. You know me, Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be filming, vlogging, taking photos of everything.
Yeah, it's funny because I have so many pictures of myself in bathrooms because that's where they can't yell at you for having your phone out, So, So all of my Marvel movies that you see, if I ever post a picture, I will wait until the movie's like already out because I'm not giving away spoiler alerts with my wardrobe or anything. But almost all of them are me in bathrooms and, behind a hallway where I set my phone down and set the timer and back up and take a picture because, you're not allowed. And Marvel, they're really strict. You sit there, you sign that NDA, you'll sign it on an iPad. And as you click like the button to sign, a camera pops up and it'll actually take a picture.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, oh, we got you. You just signed an NDA.
I bet you the big actors, though, they kind of like wink and nod because the big actors like Chris Evans, he's going to take a photo. He is.
Oh, yeah. And it's one of those ones where I was on set with Chris Evans for Winter Soldier. And I remember I'm standing there and he's a crafty in the outfit. And the outfit for Winter Soldier was different than the Captain America 1 outfit.
Yeah.
So he's wearing an updated thing. And I'm just looking at him in this thing, in the flesh. And it's just like, oh my, and I can't go up to him and ask for a selfie. I can't.
Yeah.
So not going to lie, I do have a gallery on my phone of some pictures of me. It's like I took a picture of Anthony Hopkins.
That's awesome.
We're at the lunchroom and he's sitting at the table. I look over and he's at the table, one table away from me. It was like, I was secretive and it's just for my own eyes. I've never
That's
shared
awesome.
anything, but it's like, I worked with Josh Brolin, snapped a picture of him. I was like, dude, it's Thanos. Like, yeah,
exactly.
Dude is an absolute legend. I did get in trouble for taking pictures a couple times. I've gotten busted doing it.
Okay.
So lighten up. The funniest one was I was on set with George Clooney.
Okay.
And same thing. I'm pretending that I'm texting or scrolling my phone, and I just sit there and I got it close to me and I tip up and I just take a picture real quick. I pretend that I'm still texting. And as it goes down, all of a sudden somebody comes and taps on my shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
I go to turn around. They whisper into my ear. They say, no more pictures.
Oh, wow.
So, all right. And I put my phone away and I was like, I just got busted.
But at least you got that photo of George Clooney.
I have a photo of George Clooney.
That's awesome.
He was 6 feet in front of me. He's walking around. He's talking to people.
That's awesome.
That doesn't happen. The average person is not sitting with, and you can't, it's still that side of you. You want to do it. And again, I'm not asking for a selfie. I was like, oh, just let me pop it off. But then I got in trouble.
I've gotten very lucky with all the celebrities I've met, including you. And I'm honored to be your friend. I mean, I like being your friend more than the actor stuff. But like at the conventions, it's either yay or nay. Like almost every single time, they will give me an interview from my YouTube channel, and I've interviewed like Kane Hodder and
Great guy.
and a big guy, really nice guy. The two guys that played Leatherface, I can't remember their names, but the old, not the new one, the older ones. I met Steve Urkel, got an interview with him. I met Denise Crosby from Star Trek. I actually had wine with her. That was great.
That's cool.
And my friend Randall is so jealous. He's like, "Why'd you have wine with her?" I'm like, "It was by happenstance." I said, "I did an interview. I'm getting up." And I was actually working that convention. I thought, oh, that'll be a good way for me to get interviews. I said, I'll just work it. And she's like, oh, hey, John, do you mind picking up my lunch order? And they had all the lunches on the table for all the actors. So I brought it over. And she pops open a bottle of wine. She's like, oh, do you want a glass? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, even if I couldn't remember if you were a guy who consumed alcohol or not, but it's one of those ones where it's like, I don't care even if you don't drink, like sit there and have that drink. Like I was a cigarette smoker whenever I was younger, and I've been smoke free for years now.
That's good.
And I hope that I never have another one.
Good.
Also kind of hope that I do, because I put weird parameters on it, because I used to work Hollywood events. I used to manage parties. I was one of the managers over at Fox Studios. Mm-hmm. So I found myself in a lot of very high profile situations with like major A-listers. And
yeah, I mean, I've slowed down, on the, now that I'm older. Like back in the day, me and my buddy Eric, I drank a lot at that Superman premiere. Like, I had to start drinking coffee by the end of the night because I was like, I'm not gonna drink it.
Oh, yeah, to drive home. Yeah, smart. I mean, obviously everything with limitations, but
yeah. So I slowed down. But I mean, now I just drink on like special occasions. Like if I go out to the bar,
it should be. Yeah, that's probably ideal. But
yeah.
So I always said that if the right person offered me a cigarette, if they were out back, because I've even like walked A-list celebrities out through the back door, like they could go smoke, because they can't just go smoke out front,
Yeah.
They can't do it. So, and I was like, if I ended up walking, like I'll just take Al Pacino. I don't even know if Al Pacino smokes, but I've seen him at many events. He's very nice, very engaging, eye contact, his smiles, as friendly as can be. So if Al Pacino would have grabbed me when I was managing an event, like, hey, buddy, where can I burn a smoke? And I was to walk him outside and it was just him. He's like, hey, you want one? Here, have a smoke with me. Got to be honest with you, I think I'd say yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like, it's unhealthy. It's gross. It's this guy. But like, if Arnold Schwarzenegger said, hey, you want to go smoke a cigar? I'd be like, yeah, let's go smoke.
Every once in a while, I like a good cigar. And I'll give you, I'll tell everybody in the audience how it all started. Remember I told you I went to film school. I think you remember that when we first became friends. I went to film school out in Arizona. And I was so excited that we finished our very first big, like, short film. It had everything, like props. We built sets in front of this green screen, and my school had a massive green screen that they painted on the wall. So we just put the sets in front of it, and whenever we didn't need the sets, we just rolled them out. Right. So the director of the short film, and it was called 5150. It was a big, like, parody action cop thriller type of thing. I got a cameo in it. Someone actually killed me. And I was like, I always wanted to die on camera, and he slits my throat and all that crap. And so he goes, hey, Fears. He goes, after we clean out all the sets, we're gonna have a party later on. You want to come? I said, yeah. So he had it at this bar. He rented it at a bar, and he just starts passing out cigars. And I was like, why not? This is my big, like, first time big production with all the dressings, all the trimmings on it. Why not? So yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Again, like a celebratory thing.
Yeah, it was great.
I like drinking. It's you see these guys after they win the championship in sports, or after they have a baby. It's like, yeah, celebrate, have that cigar. It's not every day, and so I'm glad that you did have some wine with her, because that's really cool.
Randy, my best friend Randy's so jealous. He's like, how'd you pull that off? And I said, by accident, but it was fucking great, Randall. I said it was amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's funny too, because even back in the day, I was at a St. Louis bar, and a former member of the St. Louis Cardinals, who are my all-time team.
I love the Cardinals.
And I don't know if you remember Steve Klein. He was the old relief pitcher. He was known for having a dirty hat because he would never change out his hat.
Oh yeah, me and my dad went to baseball games back in the day, and I love we gotta love our Blues, man. Oh
yeah, absolutely. So, but I was out in a bar, and Steve Klein walked in, and it was just like immediate, like, "Hey, Steve, let me buy you a drink." Yeah, nice. It's just awesome. There's something about that it's guys like St. Louis Cardinals should not have to buy their own drinks whenever they go into a bar.
Yeah. Well, my next question, since we are from St. Louis, this is a scripted question. If you could pick 4 things from St. Louis that you love, it could be family, friends, food, whatever. What would be your 4 things? I'm gonna let you go first, and then I'm gonna go.
Great. Food is number 1. Best food in the world. I've literally traveled the entire world. Don't get me wrong. Italy and all these other places, Mexico, they have amazing food. But seriously, for me, maybe it's just because I grew up there. I miss it. I crave it so much. Whenever I go back there, it's like a food tour. I just can't get enough of everything from St. Louis style pizza to toasted raviolis to gooey buns to the barbecue. I mean, there's so much foods there that people that have never been through St. Louis have no clue, and they're really missing out.
So that's number 1. And then what are your other 3?
So I personally, coming from the Midwest, it was something that I do miss the nature. I do miss float trips. I miss I don't know if it's just redneck fun, whatever it is. We did not have that in California. I recently moved to Texas. I'm still hoping to find that here. But I live by the ocean for the last 12 years. I would take a lake or a river over the ocean any day. There's just a peacefulness and a calmness to it that is something that I really miss. I miss the nature that St. Louis had to offer.
Nice. That's awesome. 2 more. All
right. Another one. I would say family, but to even be a little broader, it's just the people. They're the nicest people. There's Midwest hospitality. It's something that I really, really missed, certainly in LA. People would even almost make fun of me. They're like, "What are you, from the Midwest or something? You smile and you wave and you're nice to everybody." I was like, "Yeah, isn't this? What do you mean you don't do this?"
See, I don't get that. It's called being a decent human being.
Yeah, you make eye contact. So the last few months in LA, me and my girl, we would make it a point to kind of note it. And we averaged about 1 in every 20 people would make eye contact with you and actually nod, good morning, hello. Outside of that, people will literally just avoid you like the plague.
That's so dumb. That's so dumb. Like even out here, anytime I work with someone or anytime I interview someone, direct eye contact, I've always been a hello, how are you doing, ma'am, sir? Let me open the door. Have a nice day. I hope you're having a great day. God bless, at the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something to it. Now that I'm in Texas, it's starting to come back. I am in
That's good. That's good.
I'm in Dallas, so it is a big city, so it has a little bit more of that big city feel. And that's something St. Louis never felt like. St. Louis felt like more of a small town feel. You knew all your neighbors.
Yeah.
Like I say, but down here in Texas, it's kind of a blend. It's way nicer than LA ever was, but it's not quite St. Louis. It's somewhere in between.
I love going back and visiting. I would say my 4 things. I love going to visit friends and family. So, I mean, that's obviously number 1. Number 2, you hit it right on the nail. I tell my fans all the time, the best pizza of all time. I don't care what anyone says, like Flipper's Pizza, like Domino's, all that crap. Emo's Pizza is definitely number 2. And I get that right away. I like come home. I give Enzo, my dog, a hug. I give my mom a hug. I'm like, give me an hour. I'll be right back, Mom. And then she's like, well, get me a pizza. And I'm like, I will. I'll bring it back to the house. So, yeah. So that's number 2. Number 3, they have the best store. Have you ever went to the Mid Rivers Mall in St. Peter's?
Yeah.
My favorite store is in there, and you can buy. I love finding all those like vintage movies that they're finally putting on like Blu-ray and 4K, like all the old action and sci-fi. I found so many hidden gems at this store, and it's called Vintage Stock. I don't know. Have you ever heard of that one?
I'm not. No, I'll make sure to go. My brother lives out there, so whenever I go out that way, I
Go
do
to Vintage Stock. It's in Mid Rivers. It's on the top level. It's right by Slackers. That's my other favorite
Wonderful.
store.
No, Slackers. Yeah, it's funny because last time we went to Mid Rivers Mall, we stopped into a sports shop, and it was funny because I bought a Battlehawks shirt. My girl bought a Blues shirt.
Now, see, I haven't bought a Battlehawks yet because my friend Eric, I'd say I have two best friends, Eric and Randy, because Eric likes film, but Randy's more like us. He likes to be in films and all my short films. Eric's very quiet and he likes to watch movies, but he's like, Fears, no offense. I would never be on your podcast. I'm too nervous. And I was like, don't worry about it, buddy.
Hey, to each their own.
Yeah, exactly. And when I was back, he said, "Oh, you haven't bought a Battlehawks shirt?" I said, "Yeah, because I haven't watched them play yet, Eric." I said, if they suck and I don't like them, then I'm not going to buy the merch. I'm like, I know that the Cardinals and Blues are amazing, and that's why I buy all the shit. But I said, when I come back into town, I'm going to watch a game when I get back into town.
Yeah, that's another thing that's my fourth thing is the St. Louis sports scene. You're right. Cardinals games are the best. It is fun. You will have. It's just a social. It's a camaraderie. Blues games were just nothing but the best. And of course, I go back to the Rams days. Of course,
yeah.
I still have my Rams championship hat from 2000. I bought a new one, 3 years ago whenever they won it in LA. And being in LA, they won a lot of titles while I was there. I mean, every team won it. I remember the Kings won it twice. Dodgers won it twice. The Lakers won it once.
Nice.
The Rams won the title. I mean, it was title town where I was in LA, but it did not compare to those sports fandom. It was just whatever it is that you're born into.
Well, when you go visit your brother next, I'm telling you, go to Vintage Stock. It's wall-to-wall movies, Kevin. They sell posters, old vintage video games, and I have a nerd haul about that tall every single time. And I bought so many Blu-rays last time. I said, Mom, my bag's going to be too heavy. And she goes, just get a box and I'll mail them to you. And she mailed them. So I put a couple in my bag and she mailed them to me. And she's like, how many did you buy? I'm like, probably 50 Blu-rays. I'm like, I'm not even kidding, Mom. So check that place out. That would probably be my third. That would be my third one. And then probably my fourth one. I got to agree with you. The sports stuff, it's so great. The teams are amazing. And even the local teams, like the big teams like St. Louis and Rams. And then me and my brother would go to the local hocky teams and all that. The local
minor league. I forget what it was. They used to go to the minor league hockey, minor league baseball. I remember going to the River City Rascals. It was just so many of these fun things that just it really is. There's just something about sports in the Midwest. It just means more. And I understand that out in LA, there's a lot more going on. I mean, you're competing with the beach, you're competing with Hollywood and the movies and all the events. Yeah. Where back in the Midwest, I mean, what else are you doing in April and May? It's like, Cardinals game is on. It's definitely something about that sports our life. And now that I'm down in Dallas, it's hard because I kind of hate the Cowboys. I can't get behind the Stars because, Blues rivalry. And, again, I believe I'm a Cardinal fan for life.
Well, thank God for streaming. You can stream all the games on your TV. Thank God for that,
Yeah, it was a joke when I was in LA. I was a Dodgers fan second because, I mean, they still were. I drove by Dodger Stadium almost every day. It was I still respected them. They got a great squad. So I was still happy whenever they won the World Series last year. Yeah. But it was pretty funny because whenever the Cardinals would be in town, it was, nope, I am Cardinals 100%. And I tell you what, that red shirt really sticks out in that sea of blue shirts. Stadium.
It's bright red. I mean, like, what's he wearing? So yeah. All right, time for an unscripted question. I always give my the people that I interview a chance to ask a question. So I'll let you go first. You can ask me an unscripted question, whatever you want. I'll answer it, and then I'll ask you an unscripted question.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, be honest with you, I kind of forgot that you went to film school. Now that once you said, I was like, oh, I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But it has been a while since you have made something. Are you ever gonna go back and when's the next project that you want to make?
Okay, so my fans have asked me. I used to do a lot of short films out of film school and out and in film school. The last like short film I made was with my friend Keegan. He loves RoboCop, and we recreated from RoboCop 2. Do you remember those old cheesy commercials?
Of course.
Remember the Magnavolt one where the guy gets in and the thing goes around his waist and electrifies him and
Yep.
kills him? And then that cheesy like salesman's like, Magnavolt, the ultimate solution in auto security. Now you don't have to worry about anything. And he opens the car door and the guy is like fried. He's
Yeah.
fried. The dead body falls out, and then he gets in and says, yeah, and he does like that, and then he gets in and takes off. Keenan said, Fears, do you think we could recreate that? I said, and I'll link it to you after this interview. I'm going to link you two things. I'm going to link you that, and then I'm going to link you. I don't think you've ever seen the Superman World War like vlog. I'll link that to you.
Yeah, I did back in the day. I'll happily watch it again. It'd be a nice trip down memory lane.
Yeah. So that's the last one we did, and then right before that, I did this short film called that I'm really proud of. I guess I was watching too many horror movies a couple years ago, and I had this dream about a ghost that doesn't know that he's a ghost, and he thinks he's visiting his wife, and then all of a sudden he turns around to leave, and it's his wife, and she's got some flowers, and he's like, well, wait a minute, like I'm visiting her, and then she starts to walk out, and then he can't leave the graveyard. Like kind of like a force field hits him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh my God, I'm the ghost. I'm the one that died. And so he has unfinished business and he can't leave the graveyard. He can't go to heaven until he thinks of his unfinished business. And that one came out really well. I just haven't been inspired I haven't had a great idea like that in a while. So I've been focusing a lot on my podcasting, my interviews, my short, my parodies, and my vlogs. Like the fans love my live streams and they love my vlogs. But I would, to answer your question, the next time I get a big, like solid idea, I want to do one. Me and Randall have been talking about it for at least 2 years. I would say the closest that came to it, you know, my superhero Fearsman.
Of course.
We've made about 6 cartoons and I've acted in them. So I'm always up for because those are short films. They're just a different type of short film, but it's been a long time since I've done a live action short film. But me and Randall, we love making those cartoons because Randall's an animator and he's fantastic. I mean, I can do little doodles, but not to his thing. And so, yeah, we're working on Fearsman episode 6. So I'm going to go visit him in about a week or two, and we're going to start writing it. But yeah, as soon as I get another big idea for a live action short film, I'm definitely going to do it. So
I
yeah,
look forward to it.
But yeah, the I called the one that I woke up. I remember I just had a dream about a ghost that could not move on, and I wrote it down on a scratch piece of paper, and I told my friend about it, and then she's like, "Do you have a script?" And I said, "No." I said, "I just had the idea because I was watching so many horror films." So she actually helped me write the script, and we went off and shot it in a graveyard, actually in Wentzville. So that was fantastic. So yeah.
Very cool.
All right, my unscripted question is: I've always wanted to know this. In between your acting gigs, I know you like working out and doing the muscle competitions. Did those start before you moved down to LA, or when you got to LA? Like in between the acting gigs, you said, "Oh, I'm just gonna like go off and do this competition, and then I'll go do another gig, and then back and forth."
No, I was always a fitness enthusiast. I was a chubby kid and just got into working out when I was really young. I was about 14 years old whenever my dad brought me a weight set that I still use to this day. Still the same.
Nice.
And I kind of went in and out of it, between the military and playing football. And I always tried to stay in shape. And then throughout my later 20s, I was doing it more just for fun. I mean, just to stay sane. I got into running. I ran a bunch of marathons. I got into powerlifting just because I have energy, and I've always yes, I said I've always wanted to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's kind of my muse. And whenever I moved to LA, I started learning that if I stayed in shape, obviously I get more roles. I could do shirtless. Like for a while there, my abs were working more than my face and voice was, which is, which was fine. It's just
because I remember you sent me a link and you're like, "Hey, Fears, guess what? I just booked a workout video." And I don't remember the guy's name, but I remember you were in it. There was a woman, and then there was like a black trainer. And do you know which one I'm talking about? And you said,
that was Walla. That was 6 weeks of the work. It was the best Beachbody program that I could imagine. And I still have people who comment and ask about that regularly.
Because I remember you said, "Hey, Fears, I just booked this. I'm going to do it for 6 or 7 weeks." And then when the episodes come out, you linked it to me, and I said, I'll definitely watch it, and I'll let you know what I think. And I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, that was like my third one that I had ever done. I had done one for the Daily Burn, and it was funny because I remember before I even moved to LA, and I would watch shows or do workout. I mean, I was doing P90X in my basement, and I'm like, man, how great would that be to be able to do this? And next thing you know, I'm getting paid to work out, and
that's awesome.
Same company that did P90X, and I'm like, this is the dream. I mean, it's the equivalent of watching Ninja Turtles, and now I'm a part of Ninja Turtles for fitness people.
Yeah.
And a couple of years went by, and I got in my 30s, and I was like, I've thought about competing. Maybe I'll just do it once, and I'll get in really good shape just to do it for myself. It's just
that's awesome.
And so I did it, and then I did another one, and my first one I didn't place. My second one I ended up placing in third place. So I was like, okay, it's pretty good. And then I went in the next year, and I got second place. Now it's kind of a dig. It's like, well, now I want first place.
Because those competitions, I remember, they're on the beach, right?
Yeah. Muscle Beach is where I like to compete. I've competed at other ones. I've competed in like arenas or I guess like theaters types where you're on a stage with lights.
Yeah.
But going out to Muscle Beach out in Venice, California, and they have different competitions. So I won the Muscle Beach International Classic. And then about 3 years later, I went and I won the Muscle Beach Championship.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? I think I'm good. Like, I'll call it at that. And then I turned 40 and started getting that itch again. And I shot a movie. That's available everywhere now called Craving. And in the movie, I was playing a heroin addict. So the heroin addict, I dropped some weight to try to look more like a heroin addict.
And I actually watched that trailer before this because you have that trailer on your Instagram.
Yeah.
And you had a shotgun, and I was like, this is awesome. This is so cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to get that DVD and watch the whole thing, man.
Yeah, remind me. I'll give you one for your collection next time I see you.
Cool beans.
And, so I lost the weight, and I'm looking at myself. I was like, man, I'm pretty lean right now. Maybe I should hit the weights. So after the movie wrapped in like March, I want to say.
Okay.
And I was like, let me just hit these weights. Or no, maybe it was summertime. It was like summertime. So I just said, if I work out hard for the next 2-3 months, I really think like I could go back and compete.
And did you shoot that film this year or last year?
No, this was back in 2022.
Oh, okay. All right.
That one. So I went, and it was right after I turned 40. We shot it. Yeah, I think we shot the month after my 40th birthday.
Okay.
And then I was trying to prove to myself, it's like let me try and stay in shape. And then so I went out of retirement and went and took first place at Mr. Muscle Beach competition.
That's awesome.
So it was. So maybe I'm done. I don't know. I still get that itch.
I started slowly but surely because the death of my dad really took a toll on me, and for a while I just like ate anything. I don't know what you want to call it, depression eating, and then I got so fat. It was I was the heaviest. My mom even called me, and she was like, "I'm worried." The fattest I've ever been was 245 pounds. Now I'm down to the last time I weighed myself was about 2 weeks ago, 189. So,
Oh, good. Me and you are like the exact same weight now.
but
Same.
see, since I'm short, I still have a belly. So I'm trying to get down because I'm only 5'6". So I really want to get down to either 169, 170 and get the belly fat off. So, my brother gave me the best piece of advice. He said, well, don't try and work out like 5 days a week because I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
He goes, you'll burn out, John. So I've been doing it like 2 days a week.
Good for you.
So sometimes I work out Saturday and Sunday. Other times, depending on my work schedule, I'll do it Monday and Tuesday. But I used to live stream my workouts, and the fans love that. And the only thing with that is I told them, well, sometimes, because I get self-conscious, because I'm like, I just want to do this. Yeah. Other times, the internet in our gym is so crappy. I'm like, I could try to do a live stream, but it'll probably cut out. So I haven't done a live stream in quite a while, but I'm probably going to get back to it. But I've lost a significant amount of weight.
Good for you. Yeah, happy to hear. Yeah, you look good. I got up some similar. I got up to 230 whenever after my mom passed. Same thing.
I didn't even know that. I'm so sorry, buddy.
Yeah, no worries. It was and then.
So when was that? If you don't mind me asking.
It was a long time ago. This is about 20 years ago now.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while. I was fresh out of the Marines and.
I guess you never told me that, like whenever we were friends and stuff.
Sure, yeah. It's not something, obviously not something, but it's certainly relatable. There's something that comes with it because I lost my mom, and again, eating whatever I wanted to. I was drinking way too much beer.
Oh yeah,
that's one of the times where I really first started. Another time where the gym really ramped up for me, and that's where I got into marathon running because it was like something's got to give, and I had so much pent up. I don't know if aggression is what it is or just anxiety. And running was very therapeutic for me.
So, it got bad. I know the point that I got to. It was around, I'd say either before Christmas or after Christmas. I came home from work one day and I was about to get a shower and I looked in the mirror and I went, oh my God. And I was like, I got to nip this in the butt.
Yeah, wake up call. It's a real thing.
It was bad. So I was like, all right, I need to slowly but surely do this. So ever since last Christmas, I've been kind of, 2 days a week. I'm going to try to get back to 5 days.
Yeah, try to get your steps in whenever you can. Yeah, if you get in those 10, 12,000 steps a day, that'll really make a big, big difference. So good for you.
Yeah. All right. Next question. So have you ever thought about, like I brought up Fearsman. And I always prepare for these interviews. So last night I came up with some questions, and then I brushed up on stuff that you were working on your Instagram because you post a lot of your projects on your Instagram, and I didn't see any cartoon work. Have you ever thought about maybe doing like a voiceover cartoon work, anything like that?
I would love to. It's almost a joke that I posted one the other day because somebody made a video of Wax Waster, and they took a picture of Wax.
I saw that the animated one.
Yeah.
So
that became a joke where I was like, ooh, I'm ready to do animated Wax Waster because it was such a fun character. I would love to explore more of that because he is a video game character and being live action is great. But that's one, again, it gets expensive to do those types of things. So it was like, I would absolutely love to. And I actually wrote a script of a superhero that me and Ashley wrote the script together. That's going to be the next one that I really try to get made into a film. But with that,
nice.
Bring the whole lore to life. I want to do the comic book, the animated series, everything that comes with it. So 100%.
Now, is it a superhero that you made up by yourself? It's a totally new one. Nice. So you kind of did what I did. You kind of just made a superhero. Nice.
And I mean, it's for me. It's literally using my picture to. Like the comic is drawn off of me. And then that's going to be part of the joke is that in the movie, my character is not the superhero. My character is a guy who everybody's like, you look just like him. So it's kind of
I did the same thing. Like a fan painted that for me. And I was like, I love superheroes. And really Superman is the inspiration for Fearsman. I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I said, I'm going to do a total parody. So Fearsman is like a mixture of like every superhero, but mainly Superman. Like me and Randall have stolen stuff out of all sorts of superhero movies. Like he lives in the Cave of Fear in Missouri, instead of the Bat Cave.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So yeah, so you just steal stuff. But yeah, I was like, I'm definitely gonna ask Kevin that question because I mean I've seen a lot of your work, not all of it, but I was like, I've never seen any cartoon stuff come up. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I am working on one right now called Metal Earth. That is a
Okay.
completely animated one, and I will be voicing multiple characters on that one. And that's that one's a fun one. We're actually getting ready to put out a Indiegogo for it to raise a little bit of funding. We're
Oh,
not
so this is
looking
a brand new project.
brand new project. We're working on the teaser and all the poster work, and I've shared a couple things of it. I know on my Facebook, but as soon as it really becomes concrete, I'll start sharing across everything. But
Nice.
yeah, it's Middle Earth, and I'll be multiple characters in it. So
That's awesome. Because the only time I've ever done multiple characters in Fearsman is twice now. Usually Randall plays a lot, and then I just focus on Fearsman. But and then Randall's got his own. I don't know. I know you've seen a couple episodes of Fearsman. Have you ever seen my friend Randall's Cameo Man cartoon? That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'll link you one of those too. And that one's cool. He's always wanted to be an actor. And his superpower is whenever he's not fighting crime, he just does cameos in movies. That's why he's Cameo Man. And I was like, that's awesome, Randall. I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. I'm like, that's great.
That is. It's pretty good. It's like Ryan Reynolds or something. It's just.
I guess it was kind of an inspiration. He's like, well, I like Deadpool fears, and I like movies, and I like cameos. I was like, fuck it, Randall. Just mix all that in one big ball. So yeah.
Great.
So my next question is when you did, obviously Supergirl was the inspiration, the first time you did Superman. And I wanted to know, how did you hear about that project? Was it your casting agent said, hey, I think you'd be good for this? Or did you find it on your own? Or did they reach out to you? Or how did that all work out?
So I got an audition from my agent for a Superman type at Warner Brothers Studios. It was one of my first time ever being on Warner Brothers, or I think it was my first time ever auditioning on Warner Brothers, because there is casting offices on the studio a lot. I remember Lucifer was one that I ended up going back repeatedly to Warner Brothers. But I go in and they don't say the name of the project. It's just they all use code names and everything. So I go in for this audition. It's funny because you park across the street, then you have to walk across the street and then walk onto the lot. They don't give you a drive-on pass unless you're.
Oh, okay.
So I parked in the lot, and as I'm waiting to cross the street, it was like this picture-perfect statuesque man just steps next to me. Looks like he's just poured into this tight blue shirt. He's got the hair. I mean, I was like, geez, this guy looks just like Superman. And we walk across the street. We give him our ID. We get our passes. He goes in first. And then he's walking. I go through security. So now I'm like, 20 seconds behind him. And I noticed me and him are going to the same. We're going to the same casting.
So you're starting to put it together.
Yes. And so we get in there, and I'm sitting there at a table with, I want to say 6 other people were in the room with us. And you start looking around, and these are the guys that are all auditioning. And again, I still don't know what I'm auditioning for. So I got up and I went to the bathroom. And as I went to the bathroom, there was a clever pun sign up above the toilet that, looking back, I wish I would have taken a picture of it, because it said something like to all the supermen that use this bathroom, remember that Supergirls use it too. So put down.
Oh, okay.
Something. It was, it was a joke about men and women both using the bathroom. Yeah. It didn't say Superman, but it did say the word Supergirl.
Okay.
So as I was in the bathroom, I was like, Supergirl. And then it starts to click. And then they took us, and then we did the audition. And then whenever I went back for a callback, again, it doesn't say what it's for or anything. And then now there's 4 of us, I think, at the callback, and they're taking us. They're doing all this stuff with us, and then they came and then they talked to me. They made me wait, and I'm waiting, and one guy gets called up, and he, I guess they either cut him or whatever, and we're waiting, And it wasn't the way that most castings go. And then they came to me, they were like, hey, so this is what it is. We want to offer you this part, and we would have to build an entire suit for you. So can you go to the Warner Brother wardrobe department right now and get measurements taken? I go, yeah, like right now? They're like, yeah, it should only take like 30 minutes or an hour. And I had someplace else to be, but whenever they say that, I don't care where else you have to be.
Yeah.
You cancel your next thing.
Yeah, like priority takes place.
So I go there and they start fitting me, and it's the tailor, and he's measuring everything, and he's writing it down on this piece of paper. And I look over at the piece of paper, and it's got the Supergirl logo on the top of it.
Okay.
Next to it has name, and then it has character, and it said Superman.
Oh, that's awesome.
They never even told me, because they're so
I wonder
secretive.
why they didn't tell. Well, I guess maybe because of secrecy, but you would think they would tell maybe the actor. But that's a cool way how you found out.
Yeah, they won't even tell you. Like, I knew 40 guys that auditioned for the role of Han Solo in the movie Solo. Nobody knew what they were auditioning for. They're all auditioning for the Red Cup. Like a Solo Cup, Solo Red Cup. So that was the secret title, was Red Cup. But if people would have known that they're going in to play Han Solo, would they be doing a weird impression of a young Han Solo, Harrison Ford?
And see, this is interesting to me because I've never auditioned for a movie. So that's why I had all those questions, because they got to keep it secret. But in my brain, I'm like, why wouldn't they tell you what character you're auditioning for? Now it makes sense. It makes sense now.
I went some of the weird auditions I've gone in for, and then you don't even know until after. It's like, I would have done it so different if I would have known that that's what it was. And I laughed one time because I went in, you remember from film school, I don't know if they ever made you guys do this, but a lot of times they'll make you take an existing script and then change it in a certain way.
We did that, and then we also had to write our own script.
Totally. So the one exercise where you're taking somebody else's stuff, it's that you could adapt as a director and direct somebody else's stuff. Yeah. So like whenever I went to film school, I remember I did the "You Think I'm Funny" scene from Goodfellas, and I made it a girl that were on a date is what I did. That was the twist that I put on it. And then the guy's like, "Ha ha, you're really funny." And she's like, "What do you mean I'm funny?" And she got really insecure. She's like, "I'm funny how? Like a clown? Like I amuse you? What do you mean?" And it was so I went in for an audition once. Okay. I didn't know what it was for. It was for a film school. And it was for the movie This Means War recreation, which was the Chris. I'm
trying to think of his name. It's I've even seen it too. I can't remember.
It's not Chris Pratt. It's the other Chris, but
it's the other Chris.
Yeah. God. So it was with him, and it was with Tom Hardy. And so I go in there. I'd never seen the movie. I didn't realize that that's what the script is from. So I came in and auditioned, and I did something way different. And they stopped, and they're like, "Haven't you seen the movie?" Or like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Yeah, what?" Well, because I'm not doing an impression. But even when I did study in acting class, I would never watch the movie from whatever scene they gave me. And if I did, I would watch the movie up to that scene, but then I wouldn't watch the scene because I don't want to do an impression of it.
And I've never told you, I actually went to, I don't know if you've ever heard it, in St. Louis, John Robert Powers acting. I did that first in St. Louis, and then I went off to film school much later on in life. So I don't know if I told you that. Yeah. And what was funny is I auditioned. I remember it clear as day. The young guy that played in the young Superman in Superman Returns. He was in my acting classes. His name is Steven something. And I remember I had got an audition, and I think that's really the only thing I ever wanted to audition for, because I only did the acting classes for a couple of years, and I thought I said I much enjoy more editing and behind the scenes and interviewing. So I only went to maybe about 3 years, and so I only got a couple of auditions. But that one I wanted because I love Superman, and I remember he's standing. We're in line, just like, there's like 50, 60 guys, and they said it needs to be this type of person with brown hair. And I always part my hair like this. And they, oh, John, you'd be perfect for young Superman. I was like, oh, it's Superman? I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, oh, I'm there. So I'm standing like, I'm here. He's like 4 guys next to me. And we end up start chatting. And he goes, oh, yeah, this is my first audition. I said, yeah, I've been here for about 2.5 years. I think this is like my 3rd one. And he got it on his first audition. I was like, good for you, buddy. I couldn't believe I was in the same row as him, though. Because, like, when you go for an audition, they do like 50 people. They take a break. And then, hey, we're going to have 50 more people. So we were like the 3rd, like, big group to come in. And they just said, stand here, John. And I said, okay. And then I got to chatting with him. And I was like, you look like young Superman, too. And he was like, oh, well, he goes, you got the perfect hair, Fears. And I was like, well, we'll see if it works out. But
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I knew I was onto something where I'd be in LA and I would go to auditions and I would recognize everybody that's in the room with me. It gets a little intimidating, where we learn.
Oh, it does. That's why I knew I'm much better for behind the scenes, because I like acting, but I like it when there's no pressure, like just doing the cartoons or like the short films and stuff. So, because there's a lot of pressure to be an actor, like in a big production thing, and so, yeah, it was good. All right. So my next question is so,
wrap too. I got to burn. So let's make this the last one.
All right. Well, I'm gonna save the last one, the best one. So how when you watch Inside the Actor's Studio, they always end with the questionnaires. So I'm going to do the questionnaire that he always does. I had 2 more, but we'll do a part 2 later. I didn't know you had to go, but it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend. All right, so here we go. So what's your favorite word?
What?
What's your least favorite word?
Can't.
Okay. What sound or noise do you love?
Sound or noise? Like the sizzle of a steak.
Okay. What sound or noise do you absolutely hate? You can't stand?
Teeth brushing.
Okay. What turns you on and excites you?
Beauty. Yeah. I love even a sunset. Guy, let's go with sunset. Sunset literally like they give me butterflies and perks me up.
And then what turns angry? And then what turns you off? Like gets you really mad? What turns you off?
That is a really good question. I'm gonna say when we're again going to that camp where people look at me and say that they can't do something, I know damn well that they can. Okay.
What's your favorite curse word? Mine's son of a bitch. I love son of a bitch. That one's a good one.
Really good. I think fucker.
Okay. And then
the final one with the R at the end, yeah.
Yeah, like ugh. And then the final one he always asks, Kevin, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Eat all you want.
Nice. I would just love for him to have some humor. I would just love for him to look at me and go, Fears, I thought you'd be taller, something like that. Yeah. Either that or I know my dad's there. So either for him to say a joke or, hey, Fears, the booze is over there and your dad's over there, something like that. Right. That'd be cool. Well, dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm so glad we got to do this. And we've kept in touch over the years, but we'll definitely have to do a part 2 when we have some more time, man. But
yeah, we'd love to. I got my new movie. My new movie is coming out next month. So maybe we do it after next month. I have a good slate of movies coming out that are over the last few years. So maybe next time we just focus on all the fun projects that are coming out, and I'll kind of can go a deep dive and tell stories about each one.
Well, I'll just save the questions I didn't get to, and we'll talk about next month or 2. We'll focus on the projects coming up and those questions I didn't get to, buddy. But say hello to Ashley for me, and thank you so much, buddy. And I'll see you later.
Absolutely, brother. Be good.
All right, peace out, man. Have a good one. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Wow, guys, what an absolute pleasure. Well, I'm going to take off, but this is Fears, and I will see you guys later. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to Fearsman26. Peace.